What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and Dad, Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and still resident superstar, Adrian Holmes. Adrian, how are you doing?
Quite frustrated, man. I think we both are. We have run into a great deal of technical difficulties this evening, but we're here. So we'll count it a win. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing about the same as you. Yeah, I was actually doing really good, and then all of a sudden my computer is doing an error that's never done before with OBS. So we'll see. My computer might blow up. I'm doing some iffy things with OBS right now. We'll see if the stream lasts. And hopefully we get a recording, because that's what's most important for YouTube and podcast listeners later.
Right.
But yeah, then you were having an issue with your camera and your microphone. Is this like as soon as we needed it, we're like, all right, let's go live. Everything just
nope. Psych.
Just kidding.
You know why? You know why it's probably acting up? Because it knows about the sin you're getting ready to commit.
Yeah. According to some people, this may be a sin. I don't view it that way. Don't Trip 923 in the chat says, is JJ going to be in the live? No, he, like I said in the chat, we were working on also sending him to Mars. And we launched the shuttle, and now we have to wait about 3 or 4 months to see if our math was right. So we may or may not hear back from him for a while. So we'll see.
Keep in mind, I did get a D in math. So hopefully we did our best.
We did our best. Yes, I had posted in our Discord that I was going to taste test a Pepsi product tonight. And I know you guys come to us first for the, first and foremost, like the premier Pepsi reviewing podcast here.
I can't believe you're about to do this.
Yep, that's right. It is time to taste test some Pepsi, baby. I don't have a catchy segment name for this, but I got my Pepsi hat. It doesn't need. Steph baby says, not the peeps. Is Coke okay? No, not in my house. Get out of my house. Adrian, you're not allowed to talk.
Just hurry up, man. Oh my god. Not only is it Pepsi, it's Peeps Pepsi. That's like
Here we go. Yeah, oh, you spoiled it. Okay, I got my fancy my handy dandy Pepsi cup. It's a little dirty because it went through the dishwasher and has some weird like stains on it, but don't worry about that. It is clean.
A classic PepsiCo product.
Here we go. This is what I'm taste testing tonight. Pete Pepsi.
Brother.
There we go. 2023 limited edition artificial marshmallow flavored Pepsi. So here we go. Let's get a good crack in the mic. Let's see if you can hear this.
No, we don't want it.
Shh.
Nothing. Good. I'm glad it didn't help.
Unfortunately I have too many filters on the audio. On the podcast you'll be able to hear it, on YouTube, but on stream you probably couldn't, because it like cuts all that out on purpose. But Yogurt Archangel is not sponsored. I mean, if we keep trying, we can get sponsored.
No, we don't need that sponsor. Yeah. That's. You can still back out.
That's some iffy stuff there.
You can still back out.
I do not know how to.
You could come back off the ledge. Come back. You don't have to do this.
It is.
Rancid.
Let's see.
Is that the term you're looking for?
A fruity aroma to it. Here we go. Let's get got a nice foamy.
Look at all that foam. Delicious.
Yeah.
You didn't even put any ice in the glass. It's probably room temperature.
It was ice cold, but since we've had technical difficulties, it's been sitting in my 80-degree office. It's very much not cold anymore. But
oh my god!
Here we go. Get a little swirl. This is fancy.
Oh, please tell me more about the bouquet.
Here we go. It's fruity. A hint of cedar and dark cherry, and definitely lots of sugar. All right, here we go.
Please, the audience awaits with, okay, if you're taking a second sip, you like it. You degenerate. Oh, brother.
No. I'm going to be honest.
What?
I'm going to be honest.
It sucks?
No. I think this is a trick. It just tastes like Pepsi. It doesn't taste like marshmallow at all. It has a weird smell, but this just tastes like Pepsi. There's nothing marshmallowy about this. I don't know if maybe I have COVID. I can't taste something. I don't know. I don't think I do.
Boy, don't do that.
Yeah, it smells like marshmallows. It smells like Peeps. It tastes like just plain Pepsi though. It's just Pepsi with more sugar. I mean,
they just melted Peeps and put it in there. Don't swirl it around like it's Listerine. Stop that.
It's just Pepsi. I'm sorry, guys. I'm actually really disappointed. Not because it's bad, but because I wanted it to be different.
I'm disappointed too because it is Pepsi. There you go.
I wanted Peep Pepsi. I wanted to know what that tasted like, and now I'm disappointed.
You were like, Pepsi was like, how can we put the grossest candy in the grossest soda? How do we do it? How do we top ourselves? We've already created Pepsi, which the only thing on planet Earth that goes good with Pepsi is Costco pizza. How can we top this? And they said, oh, Peeps, the worst candy.
No, that's where you're wrong. Peeps are incredible. Pepsi, top tier.
Just
Peeps,
eat regular marshmallows.
You put them together. But that's if I wanted regular marshmallows, I just have regular marshmallow. But I want Peeps.
How can we make marshmallows, which are so good, bad? And that's how Peeps were born. That was the product meaning.
All right. No. All right. Well, there you go. You guys all wanted it. There's your review. It just tastes like Pepsi. So you might as well just buy a normal can of Pepsi.
Or don't.
Or get Pepsi Cherry. Because that's the best.
Okay. What do we... let's talk about video games, please.
Oh, right. We're a video game podcast.
Yes.
Today, we're going to be talking about the first reviews of the PSVR2, how Ubisoft is having a hard time committing, and PowerWash Simulator is the greatest game of all time.
Game of the year.
But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumple Smash, Eddie Martin, and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates and Mama Mare. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. Support us over there. Starting at just $1 a month, you can get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show and Adrian's show, Super Gamer Book Club. It comes out each and every month. The end of the month, last Friday of the month, kind of the goal. That's what we shoot for anyways. This last month, Chrono Trigger episode featuring Eddie and El Chizo. That was a fun one. Yeah, really fun episode if you want to hear about some just differing views on this generally well-regarded classic. It's interesting to kind of chit-chat with those folks who love the game so much. I was a newbie, so yeah, it was a good app. If you're on the fence about supporting us, though, you can go to any podcast feed or youtube.com/supergamerboys and watch episodes that are from usually about 2 months back. We release those for free to people to check out. And the free one right now is Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past with the Nintendo Cartridge Society. Patrick and Mark over there joined us. And that was also a blast to record. They are some extremely knowledgeable folks on the Nintendo realm. I just always feel so enlightened after a conversation with them. And the upcoming episode coming out hopefully this week, if again all goes according to plan, last Friday of the month, Hi-Fi Rush with DJ Trues from twitch.tv/TrowserSchnauzer. That's right. Make sure to support us over there to get that new episode talking about the hit sensation Hi-Fi Rush over on Xbox and PC. We'll talk more about our Patreon later on the show. One last thing, I want to give a quick shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use this wonderful music on our show that you heard in the pre-show before we started streaming, and still in the background here a little bit. Maybe we'll see. Definitely in the podcast version you can hear it. But definitely go check them out. The links to their stuff will be in the show description on YouTube and on the podcast services later. Listen through Apple Music, Spotify. Check it out. They make fantastic stuff. Alrighty. it's now time to check the mail.
It sure is. And
So-
what?
I was gonna say, I when I bought the Pepsi, I noticed behind the label are the questions were written on the backside of the label. So,
So you're telling me somebody at the Pepsi plant was like, we need to make sure that this exact Pepsi gets the stuff on the inside because it's gonna go exactly to where you're gonna buy it at. And have all the, not only to mention that this would have had to happen weeks in advance.
You know what? Pepsi, the people over at PepsiCo, they're miracle workers, Adrian. I know you don't think so. Not only do they make top tier, superior Coke products.
Heretics is what is more a more apt term, but
they also they also can see the future. They have have you ever heard of the Pepsi Oracle?
No, I haven't. I'm pretty sure no one has. Not a soul. I bet if you look in chat right now, everybody's going, what? Huh? What?
Selkie says Pepsi knows, Adrian, like Santa, but equally as mystical. Exactly. It's Pepsi Man. You never heard of Pepsi Man?
I've heard of Pepsi Man, yes.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of Santa over there. All right. Anyways, let me see if I can. Perfect. I drink just the right amount of Pepsi. So I can see the questions down in there. This first one actually comes from Hophead Ed, and he writes, Mount Rushmore of Final Fantasy characters. You can't use generic things like Mog. Is that? I thought it was Moog. Is that Mog?
What?
What's the characters from the? Is it
the
a Mog? Moogles? Okay, he put.
Well, Mog, yeah, same.
Okay, he put Mog, and I was like, I think it's Moogles, but I don't play Final Fantasy enough to correct him with confidence. So, or Chocobo. So he says you can't use generic things like that. Must be characters from the games.
Okay.
So, what do you got? You got a top four? Top four? You have a lot more range on the Final Fantasy franchise than I do. My focus is pretty much Final Fantasy VII remake, not even the original, the remake, and then we played Crisis Core for a book club episode. So basically, also, very Final Fantasy VII centric.
Fair. Why is Mog out of the running, Eddie? I got a question about that because
he says it's a generic thing.
Moogles are generic, but Mog is not. Mog is actually a special Moogle. So that's interesting that he is out of the running.
I guess he's just racist against Moogles.
Against Moogles? Are you Mooglist?
Mooglist.
You want to go first?
Sure. So with my very boring, limited viewpoint here, not boring, but just limited.
Right.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, without there's like 15 mainline games and a bunch of spin-offs. It's very, very extremely limited. But my top four here: Zach Fair, Aerith, Barrett Wallace, and this one. Gonna throw some people. Probably not. I think a lot of people probably agree with me. If they really think about it.
She's best girl. She's best girl.
Down deep in their heart. Jessie Raspberry. That's right. Forget Tifa. Get out of here.
I don't know about forget Tifa. I'm just saying.
Tifa.
No, I don't know about all that. I'm just saying Jessie is best girl.
Yeah. So that's my top four.
I mean, if Tifa wanted to go get a soda, I'm not saying no. You get me? You're crazy. So my four are.
Yeah, Steph's with me. # forget Tifa.
How? Forget Tifa.
What if she? Oh no, Selkie says, "What if she wanted a Pepsi?"
Don't do that. Tifa has taste. So mine are a little different. My first one that I picked was Auron from Final Fantasy X. My next one is Rydia from Final Fantasy IV. Best girl, gosh dang, smoke show. Every time they recreate her character sketch, it gets better and better. Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. I don't care what y'all say. Final Fantasy 15 is a good Final Fantasy. the boy band with some of the best written character relationships in a Final Fantasy game. Come at me. Do what you got to do. And then my last one, I'm going back and forth. I want to. I don't know.
I have Selkies wrote in the chat his 4. If you would like to hear them. Actually, he gave.
Yeah, because
he gave 4. So he has. He has Arden.
Okay.
Aron.
Yeah, that's the one I said.
Okay, Zell.
Okay.
And then, is it Vivi or Vivi? Vivi. Vivi.
Or Vivi. People say Vivi.
Yeah, that's his 4.
From 9. Wait, what was the 4th?
Arden, Aron, Zell, and Vivi.
Okay. I'm gonna say Kistis. My squad leader. I don't know how else to say. Commander Mommy.
Okay. I see what you're.
At least she was when the game came out. All right, it was 99, 2000. All right, leave me alone.
Hey, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Those are my 4.
All right, not bad. I'm glad. It's probably good thing that JJ's not here because he would have had nothing. He probably would have said Moogles. They're like, no, you literally can't. It's in the instructions that you can't say that.
Isn't there a wizard in there somewhere?
Is Harry Potter in that game?
Yes, JJ, Harry Potter is in there.
That's my Final Fantasy, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink.
Is Harry Potter? He's like, oh, man. That Potter kid.
I love that. Love that boy, Harry. This next question comes from Kachoma01, and he asked, was thinking about how great a game Monument Valley is, and I got angry about how dismissive some of y'all are of mobile games. So what are your favorite mobile games? Mobile gaming is just a platform and can have great and bad games on it like any platform, so give it some respect, folks.
All right.
So he's sorry, Yogurt Archangel in the chat says just 4 random Moogles from Final Fantasy VI. That's JJ's list.
Yeah, Moogles, yeah.
So Kajoma is trying to set us straight here. I think mostly me, because you and JJ very much love the mobile games. I do not.
So that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say he must be talking to you because Kajoma, I don't know if you know this, but I am actually a day one Apple Arcade subscriber. Like I've had it since it came out, right? So it's not that I don't like mobile games. I love mobile games. I just don't like bad, ad-filled, half-baked, just clearly out there to get money.
Right.
Mobile games.
Which is most.
Which is most of them, right? So that's why I was so interested in Apple Arcade and why it continues to be worth every penny. $5, honestly, to me is a steal for it. So I would say off the bat, I think he mentioned Monument Valley, right? So that goes without saying.
Which is an amazing game. That's like one of the few like mobile games I ever played, and phenomenal. Loved it. I never played the second one. I remember when it came out, I haven't had a chance to try it, but the first one, fantastic.
Matter of fact, what do I have on my phone right now? Let me see. Grindstone. That came out on Apple Arcade, I believe, or it was one of the first platforms.
Yeah, I remember that
the
one.
puzzle, the puzzle one. Sayonara Wild Hearts was on there. I don't think that's Game Pass, but it was there. Card of Darkness. That was the one it's a card, almost like a kind of a pseudo one-sided card battler. The creator of Adventure Time did the artwork for it.
Oh, okay.
What else? My favorite time waster is the Balloons games, the Balloons Tower Defense with the monkeys. I freaking love that game.
JJ's talked about that. That's the one he likes to play when he's sitting and taking a crap. That's his pooping game.
What the golf is on there, Garrett? Mini Motorways. You like Mini Motorways? I know you do.
Yeah, Mini Motorways. I love that game.
See, they just put Shovel Knight Dig on there. So if you give me good games, I got a shout out to Florence. Florence is a phenomenal game and it started on mobile. The best version of it is on mobile. Please, please, please play that game. It is so good. So like I said, I know you probably weren't directing this at me. It was more so at Garrett, but I love mobile games. I love the fact that kind of like you can access them anywhere. And I like when they're complete experiences and they're built for the mobile display and they're not like squeezed down or anything like that. So
right. Yeah. And
watch who you're talking to.
But yeah, that's generally been my experience as well, where it's like, I haven't played a ton because I don't know. I am so turned off by just the possibility of running into those microtransactions that it's like, I don't even want to try. Like, I don't even want to try it because it's just like so annoying. But the few times I've jumped in, like, yeah, mini motorways, like that sucked my attention for so long. Like it was fantastic. I loved it. Like I spent so much time with that, which is such a simple game, just routing traffic through a city. And boy, oh boy, I loved it. And then, yeah, Monument Valley, but I'm just too scared to try other things because so many times you download it and it's just like ads everywhere, ads. Oh, send your friend, get friend requests to get like more coins, and I'm like, no, get out of here. Just let me play the dang game. So I know there's good
get
stuff
Apple
out
Arcade,
there,
dude. Apple Arcade that's one of their biggest things. Like that's what they check for is there's no ads, there's no fluff, there's no they're trying to sell you something on the side, microtransactions. It's none of that in Apple Arcade games. And that, to me, is worth every penny for that service.
I had at the very beginning because they had like, it was like a free trial, right? For like 3 months or 6 months or whatever it was. But I found I didn't use it very much other than mini motorways. Like I just didn't really play much. I remember trying Grindstone. And it was fun for a little bit. And eventually it was kind of like, this is fine. Like, I don't know. I just never got super far into it. But yeah, so there you go, Kajoma. By the way, Sweats wrote in and responded to Kajoma's. He says, has anyone played Vampire Survivor? Because it's the greatest mobile game out there right now. And I will say I have played Vampire Survivor, but I did not know it was on mobile. I played it on Game Pass. It's on PC Game Pass. It's on Xbox. I did not know it was a mobile game, but I've been playing.
I tried it on mobile. I don't necessarily care for the swipe controls or like the using your finger to kind of guide the person. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like I don't get that Twitch response that I need. Like as if I was playing it on a controller. So it's a competent version of it, but I think it's better served on something with tactile buttons in that instance.
I only played like, I don't know, for like an hour. Like I played a couple sessions and that I had a ton of fun with it. It's one of those games where it's like if I had nothing else going on and I didn't have other games I should be playing, I would probably play that. But the problem is 99% of the time I have a book club game that I have to finish by the end of the month. And I have like a whole other backlog, all this stuff. So it's like, I'm never going to play Vampire Survivor because this is like a game that sit down, just totally
grind away.
Just, go for it. But it is a fun one. All right, this last question comes to us from Bumple Smash. Look at that. All three questions were from our Patreon producers. How crazy is that?
How about that? Participation.
By the way, if you want to write in questions, you can DM us on social media anywhere. We're at Super Gamer Boys, or join our Discord. It's supergamerboys.com/Discord. Join us over there. We have a submit questions channel where you can write in. It doesn't have to be gaming related. That's what most people do. But yeah, gaming related or not, just send in your questions. We'd be more than happy to answer those on the show, especially since I think we used up all the questions. Oh, no, I take that back. Selkies wrote one in. But I like to space them out. So thank you, Selkies. But we
might need that one for next week.
We might need it for next week. It might be the only question next week. So we'll hold on to it. All right. Now that we have two recent examples, Dead Space and Metroid Prime, what do you prefer, a remake or a remaster?
We were talking about this earlier, and I think it depends on the game. I think if the game is held up well enough, like there's certain older games that still look good to this day because of their art style, honestly, just put them in HD, fix the controls to modernize them and call it a day, right? But if it's something that's looking pretty hurt, like I'd say maybe N64 or earlier or PS1 or earlier, then it could probably stand for a remake treatment.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. If there was like some glaring issue with the original, a remake is definitely necessary. But because like, yeah, when we did Dead Space book club a couple years ago now, a year or two ago, was a couple years ago, because I was still living in Modesto at the time, so at least 2 years ago. And I remember playing through it and being like, okay, like it looks all right. Could be better, but it looks all right. But the controls, like, okay, these controls are dated. So like doing a remake of that, like, oh man, I could just. I don't know if it necessarily needed it, but I'm glad that they did a full remake because of it. Because being able to fully utilize like current gen power, PS5, Xbox Series X, all that, really amps up the terror factor. Like that game is terrifying. I knew exactly what was going to happen every step of the way, and it still freaked me the heck out. But then like, yeah, the Metroid Prime game, something else that we kind of talked about before the show, or like, it almost feels more like a remake, though. Like they're calling it a remaster, but they added a lot. Like on the graphical side, on the control side, like it has dual stick controls now, not the janky single analog stick GameCube thing that they had going on.
Extra feature. There's a model viewer. There's a sound. What do they call it? Yeah, sound selection.
Yeah, you can listen to like the soundtrack and stuff like that. Like I feel like that's borderline a remake. It's borderline a remake, honestly. Like a remaster in my head is almost like, and this is old, but the HD remaster they did of like Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 and not Peace Walker, but Metal Gear 2 and 3 for like Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 back in the day. Like that's because it's essentially the same game just with HD graphics. Like that's a remaster. Like they didn't actually change anything. Which I feel like that's happening less and less now. Like even though they call things remasters, I feel like, right? Like more often than not, there's things that are being remade to it.
Yeah, I mean a good example would be Last of Us right now.
Right, which got both a remaster and a remake.
Right,
so that's a remaster for PS4 and then a remake on PS5 now.
Yeah,
so
that's a clear differentiator. Those are two good examples of a remaster and a remake.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, like you already said it, like, but it comes down to what's up with the game. Like, it's like, all right, if you can just give a new coat of paint and kind of like use the same assets, but make it 4K, perfect. I'm more than happy with that. But there are a few games that like, whew, man, to give it not just a new coat of paint, but like
just do it over.
Yeah. Start from the frame, right? The foundation, just top or bottom up. Let's go, dude. Like it does some special things with especially with the games that they've been choosing lately. Now the Advance Wars, that's considered a remake, right?
Right. That is a remake. However, I think that's a rare case where I don't think it warranted a remake. It still looks good and it still plays well. I think that was just a decision to remake it. But then again, we also don't know if they've changed anything yet because nobody's gotten their hands on it to really go in depth and see. Maybe there's balance changes. Maybe there's, additional modes. Who knows? We haven't seen anything. So but it was already great. So that one is kind of puzzling. I'm not complaining about it because it looks fantastic, but at the same time, speaking of which, I hope if this does well, I want them to do a Fire Emblem remake too of the GBA one.
That would be cool. Be cool. All right. Well, that is it for the mailbag this week. Thank you all so much for writing. And remember, go over to join our Discord, supergamerboys.com/Discord. Write in your own questions for us to read on the show. It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
Wonderful. Perfect. Perfection. That's what that is. All right. This first news story comes to us from Darren Bonthus over at GameSpot, and it's a review roundup for the PSVR2. PlayStation VR2 officially arrives in a few days, and ahead of the official rollout, reviews have gone live for Sony's new headset, the successor to the original PSVR. PSVR2 combines a huge leap forward in technology while taking a few cues from the PlayStation 5 and its DualSense controller. So far, critics have been impressed by the elegant design of the headset and the powerful hardware inside of it. While PSVR2 has some incredible tech to marvel at, there are a few caveats as well, as reviewers have noted. Horizon Call of the Mountain is doing most of the heavy lifting on the software side of the equation, while every other game rolling out to PSVR2 over the next month consists of titles that are currently available on other VR platforms. The PSVR 2 is undoubtedly a major step forward for PlayStation's virtual reality ambitions and one of the best headsets on the market, but in the ever-shifting landscape of virtual reality, its price and current value proposition leave it in an awkward position once again, Tamora Hussein wrote on GameSpot's PlayStation VR 2 review. By the way, the starting price for the PSVR 2 is $550, $50 more than or $150 more, depending on which PS5 version you buy, than the actual console itself. So, absolutely insane. There's a $600 bundle that comes with the Horizon Call of the Mountain game. It launches on February 22nd. So, whenever this episode goes live, I guess you'll be able to go purchase your very own. So GameSpot says, I hope that Sony and its partners start thinking outside the box a bit more when it comes to games and commit to supporting the platform long-term in a meaningful way. The excellent hardware deserves as much. If they do, the future of PSVR 2 will be exciting. But for now, that excitement is built on the same thing VR has always enticed hopefuls with, potential. IGN
I could have swore I heard the same thing about a Sony product about 10 years ago. What was the name of it? It was a handheld, I think. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
What was it? Is it starts with that? Is it
it meant life? It meant life.
Vitamin?
Vitamins.
No,
something like that. I just remember it meant life. But
yeah.
Anyway, you can go ahead.
IGN gave it a 9 out of 10 with top-notch visual quality and immersive tactile sense controllers. PlayStation VR 2 represents a quantum leap over its predecessor, setting a new standard for console VR gaming. VGC gives it a 4 out of 5. Game Informer liked it. Although they did say it improves on basically every aspect of PlayStation VR, but not quite the virtual reality revolution I feel like we've been waiting for since the advent of the medium. Yeah, a lot of people, at these later reviews from CNET and The Verge, kind of say similar things. What if the same but better? Like they didn't really. So essentially, there's not much more we're getting with PSVR 2, right. and the reviewers are seeing that. Like there is like technical specs to it are better, but it didn't necessarily like revolutionize the game. It's just adding features that other VR headsets have. And making you pay way more for it and for less games. So, Adrian, I think we've talked about this before, but let me ask you again here. Are you swayed at all to buy PSVR 2 at all?
Not at all. I mean, so the biggest argument I've seen when or not argument, but counterpoint that whenever we bring up, it costs, $150 more than a unit, than the console itself, right? So essentially, to play PSVR 2, you need at least, $950? And then a lot of people say, well, that's a lot cheaper than...
And that doesn't get you a game, though.
No, it doesn't. So realistically, we'll say
the other thing. None of these reviews say anything about the fact that it is not backwards compatible with PSVR 1 games. So my entire PSVR 1 library, no good.
And then so a lot of them say, or it's $1,000 to get in the door, right? And then most people say, well, when you buy Vive or when you buy Oculus hardware, that's just the cost of the headset alone. But most people who are buying the console aren't thinking about they're buying a console as an alternative to a PC, which usually costs 4 to 5. If you want a good one, can cost 4 to 5 times the cost of a PlayStation 5 or Series X, right? So they're not looking in the high cost market already. So if you're going to price this, you can't price it against PC hardware. You have to price it against other similarly spec'd hardware. And with this being $550 plus the cost of the system, if Oculus comes out and says, hey, our Meta Quest 3 is going to be $500, and that's it. And you get all the stuff, and it's, around the same power range as PSVR 2. It's going to murder PSVR 2.
Yeah.
You're telling me I pay half the price and I get pretty much all the same game except for the PlayStation ones? And it's all in the headset. I don't have to have one cable running out of the back of it. You know what I mean? So you can't compare PSVR 2 to PC grade virtual reality hardware. It doesn't work that way. It's not supposed to be in that market.
Yeah, because I mean, already, when people make that argument, it's like, well, right now the Oculus Quest 2 can play pretty much all the games that you can play on the PSVR,
right?
And you don't need a computer.
It's just a little bit of a lower res,
and it's like $300 to $400 depending on what hard drive you get in it.
Right.
So it's like for $300 and nothing else, I could play all these games, and it's slightly less resolution. Like, okay. Again, technically, if you look at the numbers, it's probably quite a bit less resolution. But to be completely honest, I have a Quest 2. And half the time, like, when you're in a game, you don't notice those things. You don't notice those things. If you're looking at it, if you're reviewing the headset, you notice it. If you're just playing a game, you don't notice it. You're in a world, you're so immersed, you don't give a crap. Like, in the real world application of this thing, like the Quest 2 does way more and is half the price. So
let me tell you, if I'm Meta and I see this headset coming out and I see what Sony's doing, you have to know, right? Just in the space alone, and with how big of a push that Meta has been making into the VR space and the what do they call that big effort that they're doing?
The metaverse.
The metaverse. You better believe a Quest 3 is imminent, right? So if I'm going to bring out, I'll say even this year, I'd say probably later sometime this year. If I'm bringing out a Quest 3, I'm putting it, even if we have to eat some of the cost, it needs to be $500. If it's $500 for the entire unit, you just kneecap Sony.
Yeah. $50 cheaper. And then like, if it's just as powerful, it doesn't have to be more powerful. Let's make it
even
the same
if it's
thing.
less, even if it's like, I'd say maybe 75% of the power of PSVR 2. Right. I would still pick a Quest every time at this point.
Yeah. Like, I don't have to buy like this crazy expensive console. Again, coming from the point of view of I don't have a PS5 already. Like, I don't have to buy this $500 console and the headset, or like a $2,000 computer and the headset. I can just buy this headset,
right?
And it does it all. Like, man, yeah, that would be killer. Like, they would just destroy the PSVR 2, which would be so sad because I want PlayStation to make cool things, but they just don't. They just keep like
they make the wrong cool things instead of things that they should make.
But they just make bad choices.
Well, don't forget they halved even though they are like telling a story that they didn't. They halved or 30% of their production orders because the pre-orders were so low.
Yeah, so already people like aren't buying this thing. So I'd be curious come Wednesday to like go drive around and like go to like some of the GameStops and go to Target and just see if there's any on the shelves. Because they're talking that like initially, there was that report that came out like, they cut production, blah, blah, blah. And then they came out with a statement like, no, we didn't cut production. VR sales are down, like it's down, but now we're just going to push.
Bro, Sony,
we're pushing forward.
The manufacturers told us you did. Why would they lie?
Yeah,
they make the headsets. They know how many you need, how many you told them to make.
They know what's going on.
Come on.
Yeah. So right now there are 13 new titles and let's see. More than 30 games on track.
Now here's the other thing.
There's more than 30 games, but again, only one of them is PlayStation exclusive.
That's what I was gonna say. How many out of those 30 games are A, from a PlayStation studio, and B, designed specifically for PSVR 2? Because right now I can only think of Horizon.
So there's two that are from PlayStation Studios, but only one is like
ground up for PSVR 2.
So the two games are Horizon, Call of the Mountain, and then Gran Turismo 7. They have you can flip a switch on there where it makes the game VR. So now you can play the entirety of Gran Turismo 7 in VR. But again, the game wasn't originally designed. It might have been, but not in the sense, not in the same way that Horizon was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because they obviously the developers knew that PSVR2 was going to be a thing for a while, so I'm sure they like put it in there, but I'm not sure it was initially in there. It's probably like 6 months into development, and Sony's like, "Hey, by the way, we're making a PSVR2. Can you maybe make it PSVR compatible just in case?" And they're like, "All right, we'll add it." You know, it's probably something like that.
You know,
crazy.
You know what though? That honestly, from Sony, and I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, but them only having one title designed for it, it kind of makes me feel like they're starting to get cold feet, or they don't really believe in it.
Like they don't actually believe in their product.
Right. You made a $500 headset and you only made one game for it. One game.
Hey, you can play Beat Saber on there again.
Yeah, I can also play it on my Quest 2 and my Quest 1. And
yeah, they have Moss 1 and Moss Book 2.
Also on Quest.
Oh, wait. They have Tetris Effect though.
Same deal.
Resident Evil Village. You can't play that anywhere else.
Yet.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, RE4 is on Quest, so it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
But
no, 100%.
I'm just it's odd that they only did one game. Like I don't know. That's I guess I don't know if red flag is too much of an aggressive term for it, but it definitely raises some alarms for me from Sony that it seems like you don't really believe in this thing, or I don't know, you didn't have the resources to fully get behind it.
It doesn't necessarily raise a red flag to me, but it definitely it doesn't make me want to pre-order it. Now, if there was like 15 games, even 10 games at launch that they're like, hey, here's 10 games, and
even 5, I would have been like, okay, 5 good premium exclusive games. Right. Now we can talk.
Okay, so 5 games, but in even if they were like, oh, and here's like 5 to 10 more coming in the next 6 months or a year or whatever. Like, okay, now you have a roadmap. Now I have 5 games at launch and then a roadmap for the next year. Okay, I'm getting 5 to 10 more games for the next year. But the fact that it's just like, here's one game, and from what I understand, we don't really know what else is coming in the future.
No, but they want you to spend $500.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Selki's in the chat says they aren't taking the risk, and if they do, they just barely touch the concept and back off. Like they're not willing to just fully commit. Like they'll try weird things, but they're just like, let's just dip our toe in, and if it's just a little too cold for them, they're like, nope, we're out. And it's like, wait,
trust me,
get in, like get used to it a little bit, get comfortable in there.
Listen, Sony and I and the other 13 million Vita owners, we've done this dance before. Okay, I know this version of Sony all too well. When they're gonna put something out there, and if it doesn't immediately make the money back, or if it's not an immediate super profit on like maybe day 7, they're gonna start backing out, because they don't have the deep pockets like Microsoft does, but they make a significant amount of money. Like PlayStation is one of the biggest earners for Sony, so I don't buy that they don't have the resources to do it.
Yeah, no, they have resources, and they're just scared, which is crazy because they know, you think by now they know they make good products, right? Excellent hardware. They're like they just have such like a low self-esteem that they like just don't believe it. They're like, I don't know, no one's gonna like it. It's like, oh, come on,
nobody bought it, cancel it. It's over.
Get your head out of your butt, Sony. All right. This next news story is from Logan Plant over at IGN. They write, Ubisoft confirms it will be at E3 if E3 happens.
Go ahead.
What a bizarre
makes no sense,
man. While Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo may not be a part of E3 2023, Ubisoft said it will be at the show if it happens. On Ubisoft's Q3 2022 to 23 investor call, CEO Yves Guillemot responded to an investor asking if the company planned to attend the event in person this year to show its games. If E3 happens, we will be there, and we will have a lot of things to show, Guillemot said. In a statement to IGN, ReedPop president Lance Fensterman reiterated that E3 is still on track to take place this year. E3 is full speed ahead, and we are pleased with the progress and engagement from the community. Fensterman's statement reads, as we have confirmed exhibitors, we are eager to share more details as details get cemented and participants ready for their own detailed plans. In other parts of the ReedPop gaming portfolio, we rarely release participants until close to the event, but now we'll adjust our style to the E3 way as we can. We will be sending our first round of media and content creator registration approvals today, and we will have news to share in the next few weeks on some of the exciting new additions to the remastered E3 2023. Which, by the way, Adrian and I both registered for media at E3, so we'll see. Did you end up doing it? I know I did it. I sent you that link. Did you end up doing it? Okay, yeah. Cool. So we'll see. We'll see if we get some emails. That'd be sick. But it just seems like a weird thing to say on so many levels. Because first of all, like, ReedPop is saying, like, it's happening. Like, we are moving ahead. We have the location. We have exhibitors. Like, we're ready to go. So it's weird that, to me, that Ubisoft's like, maybe if it's happening. And ReedPop's like, it's happening. Like, what are you doing? And then you mentioned it before the show. I don't know if you want to go ahead, but like your point, it's like so true.
I don't know. Maybe it was a bad translation. Maybe, I don't know what the deal is, but normally with events like this, if you're a company the size and scale of Ubisoft, you have to start planning this event months in advance, if not the year before, to have a competent, well put together show. So you can't just say, we'll check back in, 2 weeks before E3. And if you guys are having it, then we'll show up. No, sometimes they make you, even just for regular events, right? Not E3. Say you're a vendor at a convention or something like that.
Well, like Comic-Con, let's look at San Diego Comic-Con.
You have to sign up to be a vendor at that convention well before the convention
like the previous
even happens.
fall, essentially.
Right.
Like even for not only vendors, but like for people attending, that happened like back in October or November of last year. So it's like,
because they have to they have to allocate your space on the floor, because they have to plan the event around who's going to be there and how they're going to have it set up so they can, anticipate traffic flow and things like that. So you can't just stroll in and be like, yeah, you know what? We'll take this space.
And you're talking just logistics, not even like if they have stuff to show at the showcase that they're probably going to do, they have to let their partners know, and they all have to make a trailer with like a vertical slice of the game, and that can take months to like work all the bugs and stuff out of that to make like a trailer or a gameplay session work. Like, it's not like they can just be like, yeah, all right, here you go. Here's like some alpha build.
We just happen to have this in the can. Don't worry about it.
So yeah, it's just bonkers crazy. It makes me wonder if they're not going to go, and they're just, the excuse they're going to use is like, well, we didn't know if it was going to happen until it was too close. Like, is this it's instead of them just saying no. And then the other thing I brought up before, I was mentioned to you before, was like, what are they going to show? Because literally, I think
they canceled their whole slate
once a month for the last like 3 or 4 months. We've done an article about like, well, Ubisoft has canceled like 4 more games, 3 more games, 5 more games. Like they canceled some of their Assassin's Creed projects.
They got Crossfire X out of here, thank goodness.
Yeah, there was like some Division stuff, I think, that got canceled. There was Skull and Bones, the pirate game, just got delayed for like the 6th or 7th time.
Just cancel it.
So it's like,
why do they keep playing with that game?
Yeah, right.
It's not going to compete against Sea of Thieves. Just cancel it.
Right. Or even, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which already exists.
Their own game. Just anyway.
So yeah, to me, it's like, what would they show? Like, if they showed stuff, it would be a big deal, because it'd be things that we either didn't know about, or we thought they canceled, and they actually like, psych, it's back or something. Like I don't know. Like I can't even picture what they would show off other than Assassin's Creed Mirage, which I guess is supposedly supposed to be coming out the end of this year. By the end of this year, the new Assassin's Creed. So that's the only thing I can think of they show off is that, and Just Dance, probably Just Dance 2023
for the Wii.
for the Wii. No, they stopped that a couple years ago.
But it's back this year.
It's back on the Wii. You can get out there, get your copy of Just Dance for the Wii. I don't know, Ubisoft. What are you doing over there? Selkies makes a good point. He says Ubisoft has such an ivory tower they sit on. They think they're so important. And that's exactly it. They have this. Back in the day, they were like, you saw that logo, you're like, oh, this is going to be a good game. Like that was like the Nintendo seal of like the golden seal in the Nintendo game. Yep. You saw Ubisoft, you're like, all right, this is going to be good.
Don't tell me anything about it. Just give it.
Nope. Just give it to me. Nowadays, that is not the case. And but they haven't realized it. They don't know. Selkie says, what are they going to show? Division 3, a new Splinter Cell. See, now they have teased out that they were working on they're working on some Splinter Cell project because they released some concept art like 4 months ago. They're like, oh, here's some concept art for a Splinter Cell game, but they didn't say for which one or what. So it's like, all right, are they going to announce they're doing the Splinter Cell remake finally, or
what? But are you going to have a whole event just for Splinter Cell?
No, not at all. I would love a new Splinter Cell. Don't get me wrong. Like,
absolutely,
I love Splinter Cell, but at the same time, you can't have a whole showcase for that. So I don't know what they're doing. Come on, Eves. What are you doing over there, bud?
Yeah, I think maybe he misspoke, or I don't know. It doesn't. The statement doesn't make sense when you take just 30 seconds to actually think about it.
Or maybe he's been like just under a rock for the past year and he doesn't know that E3 is actually happening. So someone asked him about it in the call. And he's like, yeah, if it's happening, yeah, sure, I will go. And like,
you might be right.
After the call, he's like, talks to his assistant and he's like, hey,
is E3 a thing again?
Do you know? Yeah, is E3 back? Is that a? Oh, it is. Oh shoot. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, get on it, boys. Let's do this thing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so time will tell. We might find out a week before. Who knows? All right, this last news story, just a quickie, but I had to give it a shout out because it's a good game. Good game. PowerWash Simulators Final Fantasy VII pack lets you clean up Midgar. It's written
Game
by
of the year.
Nicole Carpenter over at Polygon. Final Fantasy VII's City of is that Mako or Mako?
Mako.
Okay, that's I always said Mako, but I just want to make sure. I'm not the expert here. That's Midgar. Is looking absolutely grimy in its PowerWash Simulator crossover DLC, and it looks like it'll be extremely satisfying to clean off all that ick. Yes, PowerWash Simulator is getting Final Fantasy VII DLC pack called the Midgar Special Pack. It includes 5 jobs across the iconic Fantasy City. The Midgar Special Pack will be released for free on March 2nd on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and 5, Windows PC.
Day before my birthday. What a present.
What a present. Xbox One and then Xbox Series X. It doesn't say anything about Xbox Series S, weirdly enough. I don't know why it wouldn't be on there. But
I would just assume it might have just been a misprint.
It's not just cleaning either. Developer Future Lab said in a blog post that, like the original PowerWash Simulator, there's a story to uncover in each job. Of course, there's no judgment in PowerWash Simulator, so players will take on jobs from Avalanche and Shinra, cleaning up messes made from Don Corneo's lackeys.
I'm not cleaning up Don Corneo's bedroom. Never mind.
Professor Hojo's specimens and Heidegger's dangerous tech, Future Lab said. Here are the locations that desperately need an expert power washer's help. The Hardy Daytona and Shinra Hauler, Cloudstride's sick bike, and a little truck that looks both vintage and modern, respectively. The Scorpion Sentinel, the first boss at Final Fantasy VII, but deactivated, of course. Seventh Heaven, Tifa Lockhart's bar. The Mako Energy Exhibit. Mako is what powers technology Midgar. In the Airbuster, another Final Fantasy VII boss. So the people of Midgar have clearly neglected their chores, so everything's encrusted with new dirt types like bioresidue, according to Future Labs. It's probably Don Corneo's room there. All PowerWash Simulators handy tools will be available. I am really excited about this. I haven't played PowerWash Simulator in a long time, but I got on the train back like with the beta on Steam, and I played it a ton. And so I adored the game then. And then when it was like a couple months before it came to Game Pass, I kind of fell off of it, and I haven't been able to get back, but
Ugh.
I need to because they have the Lara Croft Manor.
Croft Manor.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's huge, dude. I've been piecing away at it, picking away at it here and there for a few minutes. Like when I come home, just kind of as a little wind down. Perfect. Now we were joking about this story a little bit, and I said, now if you're PowerWash Simulator and you really want to make some money, and you're not afraid of getting a little degenerate with this Final Fantasy VII content pack, I said, you could charge like maybe $5-8 and let people watch the characters. I'm just throwing that out there. There's a lot of people who would pay a lot of money to be able to do that.
I'd love to hose down Barrett.
Yeah, of course. That's exactly what I'm talking about. PowerWash team, you can have that. I'm sure somebody in your office has thought of that. Square Enix probably said no, but it's out there. It's free money. It's free real estate.
Free money.
It's a lot of people that are real down bad these days. I'm just saying.
Apparently, Adrian's one of them. So
I don't know what you're talking about. I just floated the idea.
Oh, right. Is this an idea?
Yeah, it's been a hard day. Jesse was working on a tank and some oil spilled. Gotta help her out.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. All right, I'm down with this idea. I'm down with this. All right. Well, that is it for the nerdy nudes. Now it's time for our Patreon ad. This is a part of the show where I tell you to go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys and support us over there starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1 a month. You get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show if you're not watching live or you only caught part of it. Well, guess what? After this, I edit it, get it right up there on our Patreon right away. You can listen through it, and you don't have to listen to this part right now that you're hearing live on Twitch, or if you listen when everyone else gets it on Wednesday. So not only do you get it early, you don't have to listen to me ramble on about our Patreon and our other ad sponsors. So think about supporting us, just $1 a month. If you want to go up to the $5 a month level, you get our show notes early, so you know what we're going to talk about, and you can leave your own questions, comments, concerns, thoughts on the news stories, on the listener questions, on what you plan. Literally any part of that doc. If you have a thought and you're like, I want them to talk about my thought on the air about what you plan or about whatever this article is, support us there, and you can leave the comment. We'll read it here on the show. $10 a month, you can be a Super Gamer sponsor. You get shout outs each and every week at the top of the show. And then we have our Patreon producer tier. That's right, $15 a month, and you get all those previous perks I mentioned, as well as the ability to pitch us a segment. If you're like, this would be fantastic little segment to throw into the show, support us for $15 a month, and you'll have our ear. And you know what? We'll give it the old college try. I think we've pretty much done most segments that have been pitched to us. Some have succeeded greatly, like Super Indie Boys, now is a YouTube sensation. Go over to youtube.com/supergamerboys. Adrian's now doing a longer form Indie Boys. Longer form, it's like 6 minutes. So it's
more focused. Longer. 4 to 6 minutes.
4 to 6 minutes, but it's like, yeah, the idea is it's singular game focus instead of like, here's all the games you need to play. It's like, okay, here's one and here's why. And it's really good. You guys should go check it out over on YouTube. Or some of them are really bad, like Kajoma's Tall Tales of JJ, which got canceled very quickly. not Kajoma's fault, very much JJ's fault.
We asked for Tall Tales, and boy, did we get them.
We got. He said some of those things were true. I think he was pulling her leg the whole time. I don't know.
With
but
him, I think they all might have been true.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. That's the sad part. Sorry, I just happened to look over at the chat, and Selkie says, just a wedge bath sounds like a good DLC.
See? I'm on to something. You get it.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, support.
You gotta have something for the fellas and the ladies.
There we go. Support us on Patreon. We'd very much appreciate it. Helps us make cool things. Help us buy games to talk about on the show, leave our reviews, leave our thoughts, helps us buy equipment so we can sound good, look good. I just recently got a new arm for my microphone, so now it doesn't squeak, which was so annoying during recordings. So think about supporting us over there. You can also support us here on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, that means you can link it to your Twitch account and use your Prime Gaming sub for free. It doesn't cost you anything. $0 for you. We get $5, and you get access to our little emotes. My favorite one is Adrian's face. It's animated, so it's like a hype. Our Super Gamer Boy's hype emote, where he's like, super excited. So throw that free sub our way. Like I said, it doesn't cost you anything. We get $5, and you get some sweet emotes to throw around Twitch. All right, our last sponsor here is W.GG. Think about going to W.GG. Use our code SGB to get 10% off. Excuse me. Where you can pick up these glorious tubs of energy. This Jitterless Energy Blend. That's right. It's gluten-free, sugar-free, jitter-free, crash-free. It features a patented neurofactor, which... Let me see. What do they have to say? Neurofactor is a patented all-natural extract made from high-quality coffee cherries, and it contains a profile of polyphenols that increase production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Basically, it makes you think better and do things better. And I love the flavors. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like I don't get the crash, which is always good for an energy drink, but it actually tastes good. It's not chalky like some of the other ones. Like it mixes real good. Mm-hmm. Highly recommend Galaxy Grenade, Dub Sludge, and there's even a bunch of new flavors now. And I have
Push and
Punch. Yes. I've not been able to try them yet, but if we do, we will definitely talk about them here. So head over to W.GG, use our code SGB, get 10% off. Holy crap. Selkies in the chat just gifted 10 subs.
Whoa!
So, oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Selkies. You did not need to do that, but we are very, very, very much appreciative of that. Holy cow. Thank you. So there you go.
Now we can buy Garrett some good soda. Thank you, Selkies. Thank you.
Now we can buy more Pete Pepsi.
No, absolutely not.
I'm going to buy the box of cans. You know, it comes in a box of the mini cans. That's what I'm going to buy next. So thank you, Selkies, for contributing.
Look what you've done
to the or maybe I'll just use it. It's Easter's coming up. I'll just buy normal Peeps.
Honestly, I'd rather you buy Peeps than Peeps Pepsi. I can stomach that.
Oh, man. All right. Well, thank you all so much who supports on Patreon. Thank you to everyone who subscribes on Twitch. Thank you for Selkies for gifting 10 subs. Thank you to everyone who supports us over at W. If you want some good energy, think about going over there. Get 10% off and helps the show. All right. That's it. Let's move on to the rest of the show. All right, this is the part where I ask you, Adrian, what you playing?
So I am well into Hi-Fi Rush at this point, trying to get through it, and not in a negative way get through it, but like trying to finish it before we hit it for book club. I am still having a blast. I know we had some discussion about it in the Discord about people were saying it was kind of samey. I think honestly that was maybe the first couple of chapters, because I feel like once you get past the second boss, it never really plays the same, or hadn't played the same for me yet. I think there's enough variation in how you move through the levels that it doesn't get boring for me at this point. But I do play it like a chapter at a time, because I mentioned that it has such a Saturday morning cartoon feel that when I sit down, I just play through one chapter and beat the boss, and then I treat it as if, okay, that's my episode for today, and then I come back the next day or whenever I can and play it again. And that has worked out for me tremendously. I'm having a great time with it. And then the other thing that I'm flipping back and forth between that is the Metroid Prime remaster.
Yes.
My goodness, is that it was already a great game, so it had a great foundation to start out from, but they have improved pretty much every aspect. Anything that when you ask people, oh, if they made Metroid Prime today, how would you want it to be made? It's that game, right? They've fixed and modernized everything that you can think of that you would need in a modern day version of that game. They nailed it. And I am having a ton of fun with it so far. I have zero complaints about it. It runs great. It looks great. The new control styles, even if you want, different ones, if you want the classic one, you could do it. Gyro controls. Yeah.
I know. I love how they essentially gave you, they give you the original GameCube controls, but then they also gave you, they call it gyro controls, but it's basically like the Wii controls in a sense.
Right.
Like they basically gave you a way to play. If you if you like the remaster that was on the Wii, like here's your way to play it that way too. I'm like, that's
it's
cool.
the best. It's the best way
to
control the blaster because that's the most accurate.
Oh, I don't know. I've never tried it. I'll have to try it out. I just went right to dual sticks. I'm like, I know how to play a first person shooter game. Like I'm just gonna stick with what I know. But yeah, I'd be curious to give the gyro controls a try. But yeah, how far are you in? Are you pretty far in, or still kind of putzing through the beginning?
No, I'm a good little ways in.
Okay.
I'd probably say I just got to Phendrana Drifts, so that's the snow level. Sorry.
Okay.
So it's a good little ways in.
Yeah. It's you're definitely farther than me. Most people in one sitting could probably get farther than me because I've mainly been playing Hi-Fi Rush, but I played enough to get through. I'm just on the planet surface. Like I just got to boom, I landed. Everything is green grass, and
okay.
I haven't played any more than that. Like I just landed, getting ready to go. But yeah, it's such a good game. So I've told my story before. Like I had never played the first one. I loved Metroid Prime 2. I played that to death. I love that game. Somehow I missed the first one though. I don't know how I did that. And so going back and playing the first one now, I'm like, oh man. And I'm glad I'm playing it remastered because honestly, I think it would have been hard to go back to the original and play it just purely based off even the control scheme. Like,
yeah, it still holds up visually. I feel like though.
Yeah, it does. It's like it's not bad. I was telling Steph actually right before this because I was in her stream before we went live and she rated us. But I was mentioning her. I was like, oh yeah, because she was playing it, and I was like, yeah, the graphics on the original were good-ish, but they really beefed it up with the remaster. Like it's pretty incredible what they've added. Like with
for the time they were amazing. For GameCube true. When it first came out, they were incredible.
Totally.
But now it looks like what we think it looked like back then.
Yeah, and that's exactly actually what I was gonna say is like it really is like what I remember Metroid Prime 2 looking like, what I think it looked like. It's like playing. I'm like, oh, this looks so good. Then you actually look back at the old one, you're like, ooh, man, no, it was rough. It was rough. But pretty much the only game I've been playing is just Hi-Fi Rush. I'm getting close to the end now. I'll hopefully be done with it by Thursday. That's when we're going to be recording. I should be. I think I just have like 2 chapters left or something like that.
Mm-hmm. You coming around, or you still feel the same?
I don't know. I just have there's so much I love about it, but then there's like very specific things that are just rubbing me the wrong way. And I'll talk more about it when we do our book club. So you'll have to support us on Patreon to hear what those things are. But yeah, it's like this thing where there's so much I love, but there's the things that are like causing issues for me are things that unfortunately are making it hard to continue to play. Like I'm almost like, all right, I'm ready. I think I'm ready for it to be done. Like I'm ready to get to the end now, which is unfortunate. Again, not that I don't like it, but it's like it's like
it's overstaying its welcome for you?
A little bit. And again, it's like when I talk about in the book club, you're like, okay, yeah, that makes more sense. Because again, I'm loving the characters. I'm even loving the story. Like I just got to this twist in the story. I'm like, whoa, didn't see that coming. But yeah, it's I'm ready for it to finish it up. That's for sure. But what I was looking forward to playing it. So it's a weird because this segment's called What You Playing. I'm not playing it right now, but I'm going to be playing it as soon as I finish Hi-Fi Rush. I was asked by Connor to join them on their
Ori? Me too.
No, not
No?
Ori. they're doing some. I don't know. Is it like one of his Call Me by Your game, like the split screen episode? They're talking about Half-Life.
Oh.
And he asked me, and I've played Half-Life. I'm a weirdo. I play the sequels and everything. I played Half-Life 2.
Don't tell me you. Oh, Garrett.
Because on Xbox 360, I got the orange box. So I played through Half-Life 2, episode 1 and 2. Loved it. And now he's like, oh, do you want to be on our Half-Life 1 episode? I'm like, I've never played it. He's like, perfect. Great. That's fine. Go ahead and play it and join us next month. So, yeah. I was extremely stoked to play through it. And then I started watching. He streamed the entire game on his channel, and I would tune in because it was during my work hours, so I just have it on my other monitor while I was working. And so many times I'm like, oh, the gameplay is so 1998. Like, it's
I was gonna say, you have to remember, it was the late 90s. It was the late.
I know, but it's just like, I'm like, man, it's like a 10-12 hour game of just like rough gameplay. I'm like, whew, we'll see how it goes. I hope this, like, the story just makes up for it, because that's what I remember about the second Half-Life, at least, is like, had a great story. So I'm really hoping like its story is like gripping enough in Half-Life to like hold me through the whole thing that I can talk about it on his podcast. But
I guess you'll have to find out.
We will find out. All right. Well, that is it for What You Playing. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode. We appreciate each and every one of you who tune in live on Twitch. Thank you, Selkies, by the way, for subscribing or gifting subs. Sorry, gifting 10 subs. That's absolutely insane. We appreciate it. So awesome. We love all of you folks who support us by just downloading the episodes, by watching on YouTube, giving us that like, subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on Twitch, all the things. You guys are all awesome. If you want to support us one step further and get some cool perks, you can support us over on patreon.com/supergamerboys. Get episodes early and ad-free. Remember, book club coming out the end of this week. So if you support us here, you'll be getting this episode early, and then Friday, hopefully getting that Hi-Fi Rush episode with DJ Trues. SGBstore.com, where you can get sweet merch. Right now, we got mugs up there, we got t-shirts, we got stickers, we got a bunch of fun stuff. Still working on that new stuff. I know we teased it and showed it off like a few weeks ago, but there was Wait a minute. Did
you hear back yet?
From who? Oh, from Sir Prince-a-Lot?
Yeah.
No, I talked to him the other day, but he didn't mention anything. So I need to talk.
Coward.
Oh shoot, calling out my buddy. So yeah, sgbstore.com. Stay tuned. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe we'll either get the new merch up on there, or maybe we'll make a new merch store with even better quality stuff over.
That's what I want to do. That's the plan.
I say better quality. It's really more just like we would just have a better canvas. It's not so much better quality. It's more like we can just do more, because it's like, hey.
Well, it will be better. It'll be
that
like
too.
Better fitting shirts.
Yeah. Hopefully better quality shirts. I don't shrink. You don't have to buy like a size or two bigger than what you wear.
Right.
It's w.gg. Use code SGB. Remember, get 10% off your order over there and help the show out. Rate and review us where you can. Shout out to Jack Sriracha and Yate for allowing us to use their music on this show. We appreciate them so much for allowing us to continually use their music. They don't charge us any money, and we really appreciate having some awesome tunes from some awesome folks. So show them some love and support by streaming through Apple Music and Spotify, because that helps them financially by doing that. I think they're also on Bandcamp. I know Jack Sriracha, or one of them is. Yate, I don't know.
One of the two.
Google both of those artists in Bandcamp, and they pop up, because I bought their albums through there. It's great. Where can we find us? Where can you find us? You can find us at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I am on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy. What's up?
Nothing. I was just thinking if there's anything else I need to add, and there's not. So that's it. We can go ahead and take it away, Adrian.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Folks, thank you for hanging out with us for another week of Super Gamer Boys. As Garrett said earlier, we appreciate any support that you're willing to give us, even if it's just your time or your eyes and ears.
Give us a share on social media. That's what people don't do enough of.
That's true too.
We might get the like, but even just sharing it, being like on Facebook, hit that share button.
Yeah.
On Twitter,
or
hit that
comment,
retweet
let us
button.
know you're here. You know what? I've seen where
comment.
like, yeah, I've seen where people are like, if you're really down and you've watched the video this far, type this phrase in the comments. Well, you know what? How about you type the word broccoli in the comments if you made it this far? How about that? Yeah, then we'll know, because we haven't talked about broccoli at all. You're a real one. So again, with much appreciation, we, Garrett and I, and even JJ in his many absences,
well,
are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we will catch you on the flippity flop. PowerWash Simulator's Game of the Year.
Game of the Year. I need that DLC. I need it.